Early life and historical setting. Very little is known with certainty about Ignatius's early life. Tradition places him in the Roman province of Syria, in or around the city of Antioch, sometime in the mid-1st century. He came from a cultural milieu where Greek, Roman, and Syrian Semitic worlds overlapped. Antioch was a major Hellenistic city in the Roman East, a hub of trade and ideas. Some traditions say he may have been a pagan convert to Christianity, though this is not verifiable. He is sometimes called by the epithet Theophoros, God-bearer, a title reflecting his deep Christian conviction and later martyr status. He rose to become Bishop of Antioch. According to some sources, his episcopate may have begun around 70 CE and lasted until his arrest around 107 to 110 CE. As bishop, he served a community that was still forming. Christians in Antioch lived in a city that had pagan institutions, Jewish synagogues, and emerging Christian congregations. The boundary between Christian identity and the surrounding world was still being defined. During this time, the early church faced both internal and external pressures. Internal conflicts about doctrine, practice, leadership structure. Externally, Roman authorities sometimes viewed Christians as a threat because of their refusal to offer sacrifices to the emperor or pagan gods. Ignatius's leadership must be seen against that tension. Arrest, journey to Rome, and the letter's Ignatius's most notable chapter begins when he was arrested. Tradition says under Emperor Trajan during his reign 98 to 117 CE and condemned to death. The mode of execution was martyrdom in Rome, often pictured as being thrown to wild beasts in the arena. What makes this account so rich for historians and theologians alike is that during his transport to Rome, via Asia Minor, for instance, through Smyrna, Troas, he wrote a number of letters to Christian communities and a personal letter to Polycarp of Smyrna. These letters, 7 letters are commonly accepted as genuinely his, include epistles to the churches of Ephesus, Magnesia, Tralles, Philadelphia, Smyrna, to Polycarp, and to the church in Rome. In those letters, he expresses profound Christian convictions, unity of the church, the role of the bishop, the Eucharist, the real humanity and suffering of Christ. And the meaning of martyrdom, for example. In his letter to the Romans he writes, "I am God's wheat, and I shall be ground by the teeth of beasts, that I may become the pure bread of Christ." On his journey, he was apparently accompanied by deacons and Christians who met him along the way. His letters show that he was deeply respected and that local Christian communities greeted him. His journey therefore becomes both physical, from Syria to Rome, and spiritual, carrying not only his chains, but also a message to the churches, theological emphasis, and ecclesiology. One of the reasons Ignatius is important is that his letters give one of the earliest glimpses into how the church was thinking about itself, its leadership, its sacramental life, its unity, barely a generation after the apostles. Church unity and the bishop. Ignatius strongly emphasized that where the bishop is, there the Christian community should also be. Where the bishop appears, let the people be, just as where Jesus Christ is, there is the Catholic Church. By Catholic, he meant universal, the church everywhere, not as a later institutional entity, but as the one body of Christ. For Ignatius, the bishop serves as a visible focal point of unity, not simply a bureaucratic official, but a sign of Christ's presence. His emphasis on obedience to the bishop should be seen in the context of maintaining unity and faithfulness amid threats of division, Christology, and the Eucharist. Ignatius strongly argued against the idea that Christ only appeared to suffer, a doctrine sometimes called docetism. He insisted that Christ was truly human, born of Mary, ate and drank, suffered, died under Pontius Pilate, was raised. This insistence has theological import. If Christ's suffering weren't real, then Christian suffering would have no meaning in union with him. Also, he viewed the Eucharist, the Lord's Supper, as real participation in the body and blood of Christ, not a mere symbol, but a means of communion with Christ. In some of his letters, he uses Eucharistic language boldly, martyrdom and union with Christ. For Ignatius, martyrdom wasn't just an unfortunate fate, it was the ultimate act of union with Christ. He longed for it because he saw it as entering into Christ's passion and glory. He writes that he is eager to be offered as Christ's bread, a vivid metaphor. While modern readers sometimes find his language extreme, in his historical context, the red martyrdom, dying for Christ, was seen as the highest witness, warning against false teaching. Ignatius also engages in polemics. He warns against Judaizing influences, those insisting on Jewish law continuation, and Docetism and other early heretical or semi-heretical movements. His letters reveal a church that is maturing, not naive, but attentive to doctrinal integrity, internal cohesion, and external witness. Martyrdom, death, and legacy. According to tradition, Ignatius reached Rome and was martyred in the arena, consumed by wild beasts. While the exact historic details, date, location, form, are debated, the imagery has been central in Christian memory. The historian Eusebius of Caesarea places his death around 107 CE during the reign of Trajan. His legacy is significant on multiple fronts. Apostolic Father witness. Ignatius is counted among the Apostolic Fathers, those early Christian leaders who bridged the generation of the apostles and the later church. His letters are among the earliest substantial Christian documents after the New Testament. Ecclesiology. His views on bishop, presbyters, deacons, church unity helped shape how later Christian tradition thought about leadership and structure. Theology of suffering and martyrdom. His vivid language about suffering, union, offering one's life, has influenced Christian spirituality, especially in the Eastern traditions. Use of Catholic Church. He uses the term Catholic, meaning universal, in a sense that anticipates later usage. Liturgical and devotional memory. He is venerated as a saint in multiple Christian traditions, Catholic, Orthodox, Oriental. His feast days celebrated October 17th in the West, December 20th in the East, and his story invoked in sermons and devotion. At the same time, his writings and tradition raise scholarly questions. The exact number of letters genuinely by him, 7 are usually accepted, and the authenticity of later added ones, the precise historical details of his life, his early years, how he became bishop, where exactly he died, often rest on tradition more than strictly documented fact. Some of his vivid martyr language has raised questions about hyperbole, symbolic meaning, or literal fact. But regardless of those debates, his influence is solid. Why St. Ignatius matters today. For your documentary audience, here are several takeaway themes you might emphasize. Witness and conviction. Ignatius shows a model of a leader who isn't just managing a community, but living in deep conviction, a faith that will and embraces suffering rather than fleeing it. community and structure. At a time when Christian communities were small, fluid, and under pressure, he argues for visible structure, bishop, presbyters, deacons, as a means of safeguarding unity and orthodoxy, which has echoes for modern churches asking how to remain faithful and cohesive, sacramental and incarnational faith. Ignatius's insistence that Christ truly suffered, that Christians truly partake in the Eucharist, reminds us of faith's embodiment, not purely abstract, universality, Catholicity. The idea that a Christian community here is connected with one there, that the church is not just local, but global. A theme resonant in a connected world, martyrdom as metaphor and reality. Even if one does not face literal martyrdom today, Ignatius invites us to ask, what does it mean to risk, to suffer for what one believes, to be so united with one's faith that one lives as though life and death themselves are domains of witness?
Across the centuries, his letters still whisper, "I am God's wheat," a reminder that faith can turn even suffering into purpose. Thank you for watching and walking this path through history with us. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share this film. It truly helps our channel grow and keeps stories like this alive. From all of us here, may the blessings and intercession of Saint Ignatius of Antioch bring peace, strength, and unity to your life.